Done differently, or just spend more time on math, because we have the luxury of elementary kids that, they can spend more time on math, say, or reading, than maybe socially or science.
Right.
We can all agree if kids can't read well and don't have the basic math facts, it's hard to do when you get to the higher levels. So that's kind of the balance we're trying to achieve. So there's a couple different ways, and he mentioned that he's going to get if we were fortunate enough to get that new teacher that'd be on his side, but we'd have to argue about that, because I'd rather have it on my side than the 3, 4, 5 grade, teachers. So, we have to decide what's best for the kids, though.
Right.
And so,
we want to try and fix them, though, before they get to that side.
He's saying what you promised.
That's right. And intermediate level.
So we'll see how that works. But, I really appreciate the time and everyone, listening to us. We hope we
Isn't
can...
part of the other problem the fact that the classrooms are so limited in the amount of children that can be in each classroom?
The occupancy.
I mean, the occupancy is what, 25?
25. That's occupants.
Right, that includes a teacher.
Right, and then
And if there's
another
an hour
teacher
in there,
yeah.
Or if you have special education students that participate in the classroom.
and they have an aide?
Correct.
Okay.
So and I think that's, I don't know what the typical class size is. I mean, of course, the younger kids, you want to be a little bit smaller if you could.
Right.
As you get older, you can do with a little bit more kids. But yeah, that's the challenge. So, that's what we like. You guys have to make the tough decisions. That's why you're here. We appreciate everything you're doing, all the time you're spent with the budget. It's not an easy decision. But do you have any other questions for us?
Yeah, with Ed saying that we probably cannot replace all of them at one time.
Correct.
Consider that. How would you rank them, teacher, music teacher, math teacher, as far as a priority to say, if you can get me one of these this year, one of these next year, one of these the following year, is there something that is more important than another from your perspective being the building?
I'd probably say pretty much the way that they're listed there, talking about,
Yeah, I think that,
I mean, the music teacher's tough because you got 971 students that are, going into one classroom once every 8 days. I think it's a totally figure out, I think it's 22 classes they get per year. And unfortunately, we just don't have the time to do those types of programs that we always have, bringing people in and offering some things in that area. So that it's tough to say.
Is that really a new position, though? I mean, I want to ask the question like this. You said we used to have 2 music teachers. Did one get removed from a budget at some point? When
They
Through retirement.
They retired whenever they placed.
That was right at the beginning of COVID when it wouldn't have made sense to replace them for a while.
So it's not really a new position. It wasn't budgeted last year.
New compared to right now.
Okay.
Were any of those 3 positions new?
No. When you got there, no, there's a lot, no.
Okay,
They've had those in the past.
Right, okay, so those are not 3 teachers that you've had before.
Without a doubt.
Okay. Well, we didn't budget last year, so we have to pay for them this year. That's the other.
Correct, yeah.
Right.
So it's not in the budget last year. We're not going to hire. And what's the thing?
Do you think the order is the order that we should, if we do any, we should start in that order, or that's what I'm trying to get at? If we can do
I'm sorry, I would put the music teacher last only because.
I agree with you. I'm worried about that group coming up. The kindergarten students having, next year, just that teacher following them. That's my concern. And as Dr. McCallum mentioned, when we were coming into elementary center, we were, talking about trying to the maximum number of about 18 to 20, for our youngest students.
Okay.
And again, I understand, this is a wish list for us. I certainly understand that. So you could probably switch either of those first 2, but I am concerned about having a teacher, again, following that bubble group of
Okay.
students.
So then that is your preferred order.
That's what I prefer.
Can I also ask, you mentioned a teacher.
Yeah, I would say, because you're going to get, those kids, I would say that's probably the best way to do it. I have to say.
You mentioned a teacher following from grade to grade. How much of a concern with that is from teachers jumping from teaching one grade one year to the next, and how do we make that a smooth transition?
And that's the challenge, Nathan, because it doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're a teacher teaching first grade for 5 years and you go to 2nd grade, no teacher's going to be as effective. So that's the balancing act.
We've actually had some of that, more than what we had that the last couple of years.
Yes.
We have to try a little bit of looping, where the teacher would follow a class pretty much. And we try and limit that. We've had a teacher who's moved, 3 times in the last 4 years. We try and limit that as much as
Well, I'm sure that's a challenge, yeah.
Do the teachers like to move, or do they prefer
No.
to stay?
From what I've heard, no.
Yeah.
No.
That's a whole different job, yeah.
I would think so,
trying to have
What's,
something.
what's the benchmark on best in class or class sizes for this age group? Like, I mean, I was expecting our classes were gonna be like 28, 29 in the class, so I'm pleasantly
Can't have
surprised
that
to
many.
kind of see around, 21, 22 for some of those younger grades, but you had mentioned when you were bringing them in, you were looking at 18 to 20 when you did the
For the primary grades, we work.
What's the benchmark on that?
There's some research that you can use research to bend in different ways, but I mean, there's no one right answer, I would say that, but I think, like, it's 18 to 20, maybe up to 23 with the, 3 to 4 or 5 grades. But again, you can find arguments all different ways, so that's.
Yes, data can be manipulated to show whatever
Yeah,
it is you want
sure.
it to show.
Sure.
Dave, if I call on you.
I'll be quick.
will
So
you
how
be
many classes?
respectful?
Yep, how many classes per day does a child sit in? Right, how many instructional classes are they going to be in a given day? And how many hours are each of those classes? Like, is a class in elementary school 45 minutes?
Elementary
So
school,
we don't have periods per se.
Yeah.
I mean, the classes are self-contained pretty much.
Yeah.
They do have a 45-minute encore period per day. So, we'll get gym for 45 minutes one day, they'll get music for 45 minutes another day. But pretty much the day is
Is
self-contained.
that always in the morning?
Not always, it's throughout the day.
Okay.
Throughout the day.
Different grade levels have it. Fifth grade starts at around for the first period. And the rest of the day they're with their teachers. The only difference between is the fourth and fifth grade teachers do a team teaching with one teacher does math, one teacher's language arts, and they switch for that, and that's the only time they switch. Otherwise, they're with those teachers, the whole day long. So elementary is very different than middle school and high school with the schedule.
Yeah.
Do they do rotations in every grade?
With the encore classes, you mean?
No, I don't know,
I
Mike.
mean, yeah, so we do rotation, we focus rotations K1 and 2.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Some
right, yes.
self-contained. There's a little bit of rotating with some
Some third graders, a little bit with some science and social studies, but typically
more
they're
self-contained.
more so the younger kids.
So again, from a managerial efficiency side, the elementary school has about how many current teachers on staff?
But that's not all of them, that's not including special education teachers, not including encore teachers.
Regular ed teachers was 8, 16, 30, plus 12, 42, I guess it's 51.
So, yeah,
And that's special
And
ed.
that's an approximate.
Yeah, so,
I'm wrong, there's more than that, I'm
so,
special.
so less than 60, and you're looking for 3, so that'd be about a 5% increase in your staff.
If that's what the numbers come out to, I'm not sure the numbers, whatever they come out to.
Well, 60 is 3%. So if you could
If we had
find a way to
60
get 5% efficiency out of the staff you have, you'd save all that effort.
Okay, thank you, Dave.
What
I
is
think
on
efficiency of the teacher, you have to be.
Fifth grade, so I'm usually more special.
Okay,
If
so
you look at the
it's
schedule,
extra,
you
well,
would
it's
see what
not
I'm saying.
extracurricular, but yeah.
Yeah, code, yeah, it's more of the
Code, okay.
special, whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it.
Team
Sounds way
teaching
better
is
than
very
special.
inefficient.
Yeah,
Well,
and if you say co-curricular, it's like it's not that.
I used to have phys ed every day, and that
What do we used to
would be
do?
nice.
They have it once every 4 days.
Okay,
And then music
Some of the
once
classes
every
are
8
once every
days.
8 days.
and nobody wanted to do that, so.
But we thank you for your time and thank you for putting the presentation together. We know you have a tough job. We're trying to, help with that process as much as we can.
yeah, thanks
We
for being here.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
It's very
Thank you.
helpful. Yeah, middle school.
Thank you for taking the time and allowing us to do this. I just wanted to provide some information that you can look at as we're going over it. I think one of the most important things is to look and see where we were, where we are now. And I appreciate that you clarified that these are really positions that were never replaced. That's one of our biggest problems, that if you look at the page, we've had people come and go, and unfortunately, they've never been replaced.
You showing you guys up?
We're just saying that.
Enjoy your handout now. Well, that's because he's middle school and you're elementary. So it was elementary.
He's also all by himself, so he has to come out.
That's right. I have nobody to back me up, so I've got to make sure I've got the paper trail.
You don't put that in there.
So, if we look at this, our creative arts team, really, we've lost a lot of people there. Those are the people that are the gym teachers, the music teachers. In the year 2012, we had 3 full-time music teachers that were doing our band, our choruses, teaching music. We have none. I do not have 1 full-time music teacher at the middle school right now.
Wow.
I share with the elementary center. The high school shares a band director with me. The high school shares a chorus teacher with me.
Why aren't you requesting music teachers?
Well, because what we did is when I sat down in our budget meeting, and I wanted to bring that up too, I did have other requests for staff members, and when I met with Ed and Jack, they wanted to know the priority. And I really just gave it bare bones.
Okay.
So what you see up there is my bare bones of what I absolutely need to
You
function.
already cut back.
I already did cut back, and music was the
Okay.
position that I chose not to include in this. But I wanted to just make you aware. You know, if you go through and hire a music teacher for the elementary center, that allows me that I don't have to share that person anymore. Now that person that I was sharing can stay at the middle school, I now gain a full-time music person. So there's a lot of other moving parts behind this that I wanted to make you aware of. You know, obviously, we expected to lose staff in our creative arts team when we went from grades 5, 6, 7, 8 down to 6, 7, 8 with the opening of the elementary center. So, you know, I want to say that up front. I realized we had to lose a couple people because of the elementary center, and we lost 5th grade to the elementary center. So that makes sense to me. But the areas that I really need to try and get back is family consumer science and our reading specialist. Family consumer science, that helps meet a lot of the career standards that we are required by the state to teach. You will see a career education class in the 2022 school year. That is an online course that one of our teachers volunteered to pick up, simply because if we didn't do that, and we didn't have family consumer science, there's no way we're going to meet the artifacts in career ed that we are required by the state to meet. In family consumer science, it's good for kids. We have a lot of kids that are taking care of younger siblings, they're taking care of older family members. It just makes sense that to be able to take care of themselves, to learn